Hey fellow explorers, it's me, Mario. Today we're going to take a closer look at Idol of Ara Anu. Fun fact, I had to scour through, I think, 6 games to be able to find it. I don't know if it's because of some broken algorithm on the BGA implementation, but for some reason, Idol of Ara Anu doesn't show up as much as it should. And even by going by memory, I don't think that I remember the last game in which I was able to get it. So keep that in mind. It's pretty rare on BGA for some reason. But on the card itself, it's a 3 cost artifact worth 1 point only, which means that it should give you a lot of value to make up for it. And it lets you research with a discount of 1 jewel. That makes it pretty decent as far as a tactical grab goes, but it's nothing more than that. Even though it looks decent to draw into it again, since it's going to be quite similar to, for example, Trowel, since you're going to um, pay 1 tablet to get a jewel overall, and it's very similar to paying 1 compass and get a 1 jewel. Actually, it might even be better. But it's still nothing to write home about. And also, Trowel costs 1 coin and it's worth 1 point, and that's amazing. While Idol of Ara Anu costs 3 compasses, which means that it comes up quite often with artifacts. You're just converting the same amount of compasses into the same value of other resources. Now, a jewel is worth 3 resources, and you're going to spend 3 compasses to get it, and you're going to get 1 point on top of it, which is actually pretty decent, I would say. I mean, you're not gaining much, but you're still gaining something, and sometimes you really need 1 jewel to take that step. Most of the time, the last step. Why is it not great? Because I don't really think, again, you're going to love to draw into it. Even though it's better than many other artifacts, and I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal to draw into it later on. I think you're still going to find a way to, skew your plans towards being able to play it by getting tablets somehow and then getting a jewel. The problem is that it's a jewel, that it's already not the easiest resource of all to spend, and it's bound to be spent on the research track. That's not that big of a deal because there's only one guardian which requires a jewel anyway, so you're almost all the time just spending jewels on the track. Because sometimes you want a jewel to get a tile and you cannot use the Idol of Ara Anu to do that. So it's somewhat a bit more limited than Trowel. Still, the main thing is that I don't think you always have to use. I don't think that always you're going to be able to use a jewel on the track. Like sometimes you're stuck in some position and you don't need it. So I don't think that this is an early game artifact. I think it's going to be decent if it's one of those games which are not rare actually. It's one of the 2 main ways to win games in Arnak, in which you're advancing both your glass and your book. If you're advancing both, I think that the odds are that you're going to find a good way to use that jewel because you're going to get more step in which you can use it. So in those games, I think that even getting an early-ish, like on the 3rd round maybe, or on the 4th one, early-ish Idol of Ara Anu to be able to use it later on, it's going to be pretty decent. But most of the time, I don't think you're going to spend 3 compasses on the 2nd round. Well, pretty much never on the first one, other than on very weird corner case scenarios I cannot think about right now. But you can get it early on sometimes. You just have to think that you have to find ways to get tablets, and you have to find yourself in a position to always use a jewel on the track. So be a bit careful. I think jewels are a bit better on the snake side of the temple because they are going to be pretty much always a step other than this one where you can use them. I mean, this one is kind of easy to take if you have idols, and it's impossible if you don't have them. So it doesn't really matter if you get arrows or jewels to take this step. You don't need anything other than idols. But it's going to be easier to use jewels on the snake side of the temple. But yeah, if you don't need a jewel, this card is going to be terrible. So you don't always want to draw into it, but it's a bit better on the snake side, and it's a bit better if you're moving both the glass and the book. And Trowel is sometimes an early game item, while with Idol of Aranu, you're already going to probably know if there are too many jewels out, so you won't need it, or if you're not going to move the book a lot, so you're not going to need it, etc., etc. So it's not a bad card by any mean. It's just nothing to write home about. I like it if I can get it. If I cannot get it, I'm going to find other ways to get jewels. It's going to be fine. If you need it, you're going to know it, and if you don't, you won't take it. So it's an easy artifact. It feels a cool spot, which is the one that if you're going to need a jewel, you're going to get it. If you don't, you're not going to get it, and it's not that bad to draw into it again. So it's better than most artifacts, I think. So if you can get it, take it.